What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. This video is about having heart, and it's kind of like a follow-up video to the one I did about the Woman King and how we should be proud of our past despite the things that we've been through. And let me make a few examples of why we should be proud of it. And it's called having heart, right? Having heart. That is something that, let's say as Americans here in America, we honor and cherish and celebrate people having heart. Meaning they can be in some sort of competition. They don't necessarily have to win, but they had heart, you know? They had heart, meaning they didn't give up. They didn't just lay down and die. They just lost. They lost honorably, but the other side, they felt it too. You know, it wasn't easy for the other side. And you can take pride in that. That's how you take pride in your losses. There's a lot of teams, you know, in sports, you know, they may not have won the championship, but they had a lot of heart and they tried really hard, right? And there was a lot of heroics involved in, you know, in their actions during the competition, right? Europeans, they celebrate, well, the Alamo, right? Those people, they were defeated. And if you think about what the Alamo was about, it was about the Americans trying to maintain slavery, and the Mexicans, you know, led by the first black Mexican president in general, you know, went over there and defeated the Europeans on behalf of slavery in Mexico. Right? But people don't know that. That's not the story they tell about the Alamo. But the Alamo was a bunch of racist slaveholders, right? But they're still proud of the Alamo, even though they literally got washed, right? But they make movies and they're proud of it, you know? They got movies like The Last Mohican, right? The Last Mohican, telling the stories about some of the last Native American tribes that were completely eliminated and destroyed by the Europeans, right? Basically the same way they tried to destroy Africa, they pretty much succeeded in America, right? Same mode of operation, different place, right? But Native Americans are very proud of their efforts that they took in trying to defend their homeland from these Europeans, even though they lost. Think about the movie 300, you know, with what do you call those Spartans, right? Even though technically by all definitions Spartans wouldn't be considered white Anglo-Saxon Europeans, you know, white people have adopted them as their, you know, a group that they relate to, and they're very much proud of how they handled themselves, you know, when it's just 300, even though it was way more than 300. It was like tens of thousands versus hundreds of thousands, if not more, in that war. But that one particular battle became legendary because they stood their ground knowing that they was going to be defeated. But they stood their ground and they held as long as they could, even though they got routed. But they're proud of that. Proud that they didn't just let themselves get steamrolled by the Persians. You know, they didn't just get steamrolled. They held their own. They held their account. The people who overwhelmed them, you know, knew and respected the fact that they battled. And the same thing goes for slavery. We were captured. Slavery was what happened with slavery. Honestly, guys, in the simplest nutshell, is that African tribes who were already warring with each other, or fighting with each other, have conflicts with each other, just like any other country or group or nation on the planet, got involved in the business opportunity Europeans brought by, you know, including them into the slave trade as they knew it back then. It became another form of slavery that we know of today, right? But at the same time, once the African, you know, various empires realized what was going on, they tried to stop it, and that's when the Europeans went scorched earth and started just tearing up all of Africa just as much as they could, utilizing various tricks via tribes who didn't like other tribes, or kingdoms who didn't like other kingdoms. It's not like they came in there with the entire British army and just whooped our ass. They used other Africans to fight other Africans. Keep that in mind. It was only us beating us. They gave other African groups who were probably being abused by other bigger African groups, gave them guns, right? And then you give them guns and they go up there and they do what they got to do to defeat who they see at the time as their enemy, right? Because they saw the European as their ally at the time. Because remember, Europeans always come with a smile. They always come in the house smiling with their potato salad. All right, they always come in there with the dry chicken, no seasoning, all right, and with their big smiles, and that's how they roll. They always come in innocent, like they're coming to help, like they understand and they want to be a part, they want to learn. That's how they come in. That's the trick. That's how they get us, because we're empathetic, and we fell for it, just like everybody else. The Asians fell for it, the Indians fell for it, The Latinos fell for it. Well, who we call Latinos, the natives down there in South and Central America, and the Africans fell for it. We all fell for it. The Europeans fell for it. Europeans been raping, pillaging, and murdering and enslaving themselves well before they started doing it to us. So this is just regular life for them. Nothing really out of the realms of any type of morals or any of that stuff. This is what they do, right? As a group of people. So we need to start taking pride in the overwhelming success that we had despite all the things we've been through. I mean, think about it, guys. We literally got what other group can get captured? Right? And we're going to include the Arabs too, because they're Arabs are the first mixed people, all right? Because those Arabs, look, Arabs are black, but the real Arabs are black, right? But the Arabs that you see now are amalgamation, a mix between hundreds of years of mixing between Europeans and Asians and Africoids throughout various trade routes, conquering and empires and whatever. It's a mixing bowl up there. It's not those people who are up there in that Middle Eastern, Northern Africa. That's just a combination of the history that's happened, right? But overall, that was all Africans, all black, right? And we can be proud that despite despite all the things we've been through, because our biggest curse is our biggest blessing. Our biggest blessing, our biggest curse. Our biggest blessing is how optimized we are to live on this planet. How powerful, how strong we are. How durable we are. How great of warriors we are. How smart we are. How intelligent we are. How intimidating we are. That is one of our greatest assets. But at the same time, that's one of our greatest downfalls, because people desire those things. And because we were so much desired, as we are still today, people are so much desired. They wanted us and needed us. Like, for instance, people like lions, right? People capture lions. Clearly, a lion is more powerful than a human being. But if a human being can find a way to capture that lion, then you can control the lion. That's basically what happened to us. You teach the lion it's a pussycat, it's going to act like a pussycat until the lion realizes the lion, and all of a sudden, who's the master now? Right? And that's where we're at now. We are pussycats realizing that we're really the lion in the room, not the pussycat, being petted, by a master. All right. So we need to be proud that we African Americans, that we Africans, that we Afro-Caribbeans, we Afro-Latinos survived and thrived almost, if we're going to include the Arab slave trade, we're going to 1,500 years of the worst conditions any human beings could be put in and still manage to come out relatively on top. Well, not on top as far as economically, socially, but we're right there. All right. We came out. We didn't get defeated. They captured us, but we didn't get defeated. Keep that in mind. We're still here. We're still here. And we're a part of these societies that we were captured and put into. We're thriving in these communities that we were captured and put into, and we were connecting with our home that we were taken from. We're doing a whole lot around this situation that people don't take into consideration. It takes a lot of heart. All right, we relearned, we re-educated ourselves. All right, we've been reteaching ourselves. We've been adding self-esteem to ourselves. We've been trying to get back what was taken from us for over 1,500 years, and just recently the last 500 years we've been going through hell in a handbag, and yet we still here and we're still rising, and we still haven't been defeated because we got heart. And that's the thing you need to take pride in. Sometimes people gonna take L's. You're gonna take L's in your life, but it's what you do. This is the ultimate thing. This is the ultimate example. We can reach back and look at our ancestors. They took the ultimate L and they kept on pushing. They kept on pushing despite everything that was going against them. Imagine you being taken 6,500 miles away from your homeland. You don't speak the language. You don't know terrain. You run into different human beings you've never seen before. Different animals you've never seen before. You're in an environment you've never been in before. You have absolutely no way to get home. How are you going to survive? How are you going to cognitively survive? How are you going to keep your mind together? How are you going to stop yourself from going crazy? And not only are you on another land with a whole bunch of new people you've never seen, but your partner, the person next to you, is the person that used to be your enemy. As a matter of fact, your group probably captured some of his group and threw him into the same ship before the ship you left in. And now you end up getting captured by the same group that captured you. Now you're on the ship. So your biggest enemy, your enemy of your whole life, the people that you saw as your actual enemy, you're now strapped to a train with a chain with this guy or with this woman. You're now forced to work in the field with this woman because now you have a common enemy that has control of both of you guys. And somehow you got to work all that thousands of years of historical issues out while working through the current situation that you're going through right now that is alien to you. And you got to speak the language. You got to figure out how to communicate. You got to figure out how to be a human being in a place where they're not even allowing you to be a human being. Can you imagine? You know what kind of heart it takes to get out of that? You want to talk about the sacrifices. You know, we got all these religions. We saw the sacrifice Jesus Christ made. Let's just take the story, because the Jesus Christ story is obviously a stolen story from Egyptian and African religions, but still the story itself still tells the truth. You see the suffering that he went through, Jesus Christ, you know, the story, the allegory, the suffering he went through and how he came out of that. Well, look at the suffering that our ancestors went through. Way longer than Jesus Christ. Our people suffered way longer than the fictional Jesus Christ. Our ancestors was tortured way worse than the fictional Jesus Christ. Our ancestors went through way more trials and tribulations than the fictional Jesus Christ. And that was real. And everything that ever happens to you in your life is etched in your DNA. It's passed along into your ancestors. So everything within us is everything that our ancestors ever done for us. Everything our ancestors ever been through is in us. It's a genetic post-traumatic stress that we deal with. Single thing that every one of our ancestors did and been through and experienced is etched in our blood, in our genetic code, literally in real life. That's real science. That's not make-believe or fiction. That's not fantasy. That's real. In our hearts. Our heart pumps with the blood of our ancestors. And we should be proud that they survived that. They're that strong. They're that strong. Not only are we the first human beings on this planet, but we are the most durable human beings on this planet. And we're still thriving, and we still manage to maintain our humanity and not be hateful, revengeful demons. Because can you imagine if we, with all this power and resources, had the same mentality and mindset of these people that did the things to us? We would have destroyed the world already. Completely, because we have the capability of doing it. But we didn't do that because we still maintain our humanity. We're still the parents of civilization. We still love our children despite what they do to us. So we should be proud of heart that we have, right? Learn our lessons from the past. Be proud of all of our accomplishments despite the things that we've been going through, and strive for a better future, all right? So that's all I'm saying, guys. We got to have pride in who we are, a burning pride inside about the heart of the African person, to endure the things that we've endured and how we continue to move on and strive and love the world despite. That's all I got to say for now, guys. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. You're listening to DJ Afro Think Tank. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.